we move into a very special and dynamic conversation, one that brings the voices of young change makers to the forefront. Our session is titled Engaging Youth with SDG 12, focusing on responsible consumption and production, and the role that students and young leaders are already playing in driving awareness and action. Anchoring this session is Ms. Adya Kanchan, student of Vidya Shilp Academy. Adya has a very strong passion for sustainability, technology, and diplomacy. She has developed award-winning projects, filed patents, and published research papers. While interning at leading institutions such as IISE, dear audience, yeah. While interning at the leading institutions such as IISE and AAA, part of fair trade movement since 6 years, she has been developing a lot of resource materials and also helping with all the fair trade campaign on sustainable fashion consumption. I request Adya to come on stage, and I would like to hand over the session to her.
Good morning, everyone. Let me begin with a very quick question to all of you present here in the audience. So with a quick show of hands, how many of you had a cup of coffee or tea in the morning? So glad to see the majority. I'm so glad. Second question. How many of you stopped to think where your coffee came from or your tea came from? Which farmer grew it? How much they earned? And or the impact they had on the production of the environment? How many of you honestly thought about it? So this is the gap. This is the space that we are tackling in today's session today. My name is Adya Kanchan, and I've been part of the Fair Trade Youth Movement for the past 6 years. I'm honored to be moderating this panel on Fair Trade and SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. So why start with SDG 12? Because it cuts to the heart of our global challenge. We're producing and consuming at a rate that our planet cannot sustain. If we continue this way, no amount of innovation will undo this damage. SDG 12 asks us to slow down, rethink, and rebuild the systems of fairness and responsibility. And here's where youth comes in. When young people start early, making conscious choices, asking tough questions, and building sustainable habits, these choices don't just affect today, they compound over the years, shaping markets, mindsets, and entire futures. Youth involvement isn't symbolic, it's strategic. It ensures that tomorrow's leaders, policymakers, and consumers already have sustainability embedded in their DNA. Fair trade in particular gives us this framework that links this responsibility with justice. It reminds us that sustainability isn't only about the environment, it's about people, the farmers, the workers, the artisans. And that's the purpose of today's panel. So we'll hear the youth voices from across the country, sharing their journey of how they got involved and what they learned, and how they're turning fair trade from an idea into a lived reality. And the value we want to take away from this panel is to understand how youth leadership can strengthen this movement and how we can support and expand their efforts. And how together, youth and adult, we can push fair trade and SDG 12 from awareness into real transformation. So here's how it will flow. Each presenter will share their journey in 7-minute presentations, followed by a Q&A session with all of you. So please keep your questions prepared. So our first presenters today are from Vidya Shilp Academy, which proudly holds the distinction of being India's first fair trade school. Recognized for its commitment to global citizenship, ethical consumption, and sustainable living, for the past 7 years, Vidya Shilp has been actively involved in the fair trade movement, making sustainability not just a subject, but a way of life. Representing the school, we have 3 inspiring speakers. We have Inara Chinnappa, a grade 7 student who is a passionate writer, debater, and published author, whose journey with fair trade has opened her eyes to the realities behind everyday choices, and has been an active part of the fair trade movement since grade 4. Thank you for coming. Next, we have Amog Varshkulai, also in grade 7, a budding astrophysicist. He has twice won the National Astronomy Challenge. He is a published author, programmer, entrepreneur, and both Amog and Inara have represented the school in the Fair Trade Conference in Delhi, so they're veterans. I would like to invite you on stage, and please, big round of applause for both of them. Lastly, we have Ayman Ahmed, a grade 12 student whose love for nature and photography connects directly with his advocacy for sustainability. He's a decorated debater. He's actively involved in the school's Fair Trade Core Committee, Rotary Interact Clubs, and SDG initiatives. Please come on stage. Thank you so much. The stage is yours. Please enjoy.
fairness, sustainability, and responsibility are all core values that have been a part of our institution since its inception. And so naturally, fair trade was one such goal we worked hard towards to achieve. And in 2017, Vidya Shilpa Academy became India's first fair trade school. Our first big step was making sure that all our uniforms were 100% fair trade certified. The reason why we felt the need to make this revolutionary change is because implementing more sustainable practices is definitely the way forward. We then began to integrate fair trade into our curriculum. From the moment we, as students, began our educational journey at VSA, we were made aware of so many fair trade policies and practices that we never knew of before. We've had multiple engaging activities to help us be more aware about this. One could be when we stamped the fair trade logo onto our t-shirts to increase awareness. We also had bookmark activities where we decorated bookmarks with the fair trade logo. We also had many opportunities to educate our peers about fair trade through our weekly assemblies. Drawing and coloring the logo and sticking them into our notebooks was an especially engaging activity because it helps us observe the sign in our daily lives and ensure that it was always at the back of our minds. From my early years, I've had multiple personal experiences where these activities have truly helped. For instance, I bought a bar of chocolate and realized it was a fair trade certified product. Overall, I believe it's instances like these that help us understand the situation as it is. Over to Amog.
Nara. Thanks, Inara, and good morning, everyone. Now I'm going to show how fair trade education at Vidya Shilpa Academy has evolved from us just being learners to now becoming the change makers. From us just learning how to spot the logo and doing basic sustainability activities to now understanding sustainable business and production systems, which directly addresses the production component of SDG 12. So let me show you how we did this through 3 key instances. Firstly, our Tirupur factory visit. So over there, we connected with the farmers and the factory workers, which make our own fair trade uniforms. We saw the entire process in action, from the cotton sourcing to the garment manufacturing. We also saw how fair trade had alleviated the concerns and hardships of farmers and factory workers alike. Also, the factories were mostly operated by women, so this was a great sign of women empowerment. Now, secondly, Lavon Bakery visit. So over there, we connected with culinary arts students, and with sustainable ingredients, we made pastries, such as with fair trade cocoa and fair trade sugar. Then we took these pastries back to our school and conducted a bake sale. Now, thirdly, last but not the least, our RMC Galleria Mall sales booth. So over there, we just didn't learn to sell fair trade products. We also learned about business practices and customer engagement. And we were also able to spread a lot more awareness about fair trade, especially to the general public. Now, apart from all of these initiatives, in order to expand our tightly knit fair trade community, we have gone beyond fair trade and implemented some of our own initiatives. For example, Shilp Udyan. So Shilp Udyan is an in-house initiative in which we cultivate organic crops with in a plot of land in our school. Now, we also had collaborative events with organizations such as Fashion Revolution India, in which we conducted a cloth swap. Also, we pitched the idea of becoming a fair trade institution to students and professors at Vidya Shilp University. So, all in all, from our visits, ranging from factory visits to now running our e-commerce platform, we have understood about ethical sourcing, responsible manufacturing, conscious retail strategies, and now we are heading digital commerce operations. Over to you, Ayman.
Thank you, Amog. And it was at this juncture where we were presented with an extremely unique problem. We had spent years of our effort and energy spreading awareness to our entire community of over 2,500 people, and everyone wanted to be a part of this movement now. But the stark reality is that it's not very easy to find fair trade products in large retail stores and supermarkets. And so we took this challenge head on and made a website entirely from the ground up that sells exclusively fair trade products. A student-led initiative that made this website from the ground up in collaboration with over 6 fair trade brands and supplies them and does 2 things. Firstly, connecting the gap for the demand that was created by us when the awareness was created, but people wanted to buy these products. We gave them a place where they can browse through so many various different products, ranging from teas, coffees, spices, socks, chocolates, and they were able to make these fair, sustainable choices. And secondly, and more importantly, demonstrating that a fair, transparent supply chain is very much possible, and you can also turn over a profit while doing the same. And I think this is, and the future of fair trade at Vidyashilp Academy is even brighter. We have already, as Amog said, gone beyond our own campus. We've pitched the idea of becoming a fair trade institution to Vidyashilp University. And we also look forward to going to a local body and telling them about the fair trade movement. Becoming a fair trade institution is going to allow all three of us in collaboration to become a fair trade town, which is our next big goal. And I think it's extremely important to bring back to the theme of this talk, the role of youth in fulfilling the SDG 12. I think when the youth is involved in every step of the process, from understanding the hardships that farmers have, from understanding the business aspect of fair trade, from understanding how a consumer is thinking, we are conscious and aware and cognizant of the problems and hardships that are faced. And so when we make decisions, we keep these hardships at the back of our minds and make decisions that are going to make a positive change in other people's lives. We know that an aware youth is going to be the consumer of tomorrow, and an aware consumer is going to be able to make choices that reflect their ethics of fairness, of sustainability. And these messages then go to the higher-ups that make the actual changes. So it's important for us to realize that we as the youth and then the consumers have the ability to drive change, major change. And if we're able to wield this power, then I think the only direction we're going to go is the right way, and that's the fair trade way. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. I believe we all will agree that is definitely a journey from learners to change makers. Next, please join me in inviting Legacy, a school that has been part of the movement for 5 years and has taken up some incredible projects. Representing the school, we have 3 speakers. Nikhil Rao, he's a 12th grade student who has an interest in music and technology with a passion for physics and math. He's a debater and deeply committed to the fair trade movement. Kshitija Shivalu, a grade 12 student, aspiring marine and environmental biologist, working on publishing a research paper on ocean acidification, and is also a Bharatnatyam dancer and has worked in the fair trade initiative since 2020. Sanvi Ganesh, a grade 4 student, aspires to be an IAS officer, a Bharatnatyam dancer, and an Olympiad medalist as well. She enjoys undertaking projects in global perspectives and contributing to the UN SDG goals. The stage is yours.
Hello. Good morning to everyone. It's 11:20, still pretty early in the day. Thank you all for being here, especially those who aren't representing schools as well. You want to be here, and I respect that. We're here representing Legacy School. We've been a fair aware school for about 5 years now, and we're looking to make the next big step and building our fair trade movement. We're taught about sustainability and the fair trade program from grade 1, and we've had our own sustainable projects throughout the year. But we look forward to doing more fair trade projects as well, and maybe even collaborating with Vidyashilp. Very nice presentation, by the way.
Hello? Yeah. So 2020 was the year the Fair Trade Initiative had begun within our school. And even though it was the pandemic, that didn't stop us from learning and spreading the word about fair trade. So we were first introduced to fair trade and its connection to SDG 12 in a webinar. Our understanding about how both of them were interconnected further improved through various activities such as poster making and tote bag painting. We also had a lot of creative work done by a bunch of students such as poetry, comic strips, and even dances related to fair trade. We also promoted fair trade across our school and community through these activities. And it was such a great starting point for us because it initiated our journey in becoming responsible consumers. Over to Sanvi.
I'm sharing my heartfelt experience connected to fair trade. Through our Global Perspectives topic, Where Does Our Chocolate Come From?, we explored in depth of how cacao is grown, where it is grown and sold across the world. We analyzed that the farmers are paid less for their produce of cacao after all their hard work, and children are involved too. We brainstormed to make connection to SDG number 8 and 12 and pondered with the idea of how can we become young ambassadors of fair trade. Coincidence was we visited the Chennapatna toy factory for a field trip and met the artisans who were making fun and educational toys who were employed under fair trade practices. Back at school, we reflected on our journey and organized a fundraiser, Kindness Card Sale, where we collected many books and educational games that were in good condition to promote sustainability practices in school. With the generous amount collected, we purchased fun and educational toys from Chennapatna Toy Factory, a fair trade center, and donated them to a special needs school, Manna, near our school. It is a modest way that we young learners in Legacy could contribute towards our fair trade project and will continue to make a meaningful impact towards the community. Thank you.
Okay. At Legacy, we believe the learning goes beyond the classroom, especially when it comes to sustainability. A main highlight of this is a grade 7 tradition that's hosted annually, a project known as Fish Tank. From the name, you can probably guess it's basically a mini version of Shark Tank, the goal of which is to spark innovation and creativity amongst our grade 7 students. And it also helps them focus more on building a better and more sustainable future. A highlight from the most recent Fish Tank was a bag company called Kozo. The group had approached an NGO run by women who weave fabric out of plastic waste, and the students had created a prototype backpack using samples of those fabric as well as old cardboard boxes. This helped them better understand SDG number 9 in a more practical and engaging way. Instead of just hearing about the SDGs, they were actually doing something about it to contribute towards them. Next, as environmental studies students, we hosted World Environment Day in June of this year, and the theme of ending plastic pollution inspired a bunch of competitions and workshops. So there was hands-on involvement from middle school students in workshops such as making their own paper bags, painting tote bags and taking them home with them to use for like art supplies, as well as recycling old plastic bottles to make creative crafts. We also hosted competitions like the terrarium making competition, where students brought in recycled materials and from home to make mini ecosystems. And there was also a rap battle on which students talked about different issues of pollution in different countries. So World Environment Week on plastic pollution connected to SDG number 14 and 15, life on land and life underwater, because the issue of microplastics is very prominent in systems like the ocean, and because of the constant currents and movement of the oceans, it's spreading all over the world. So it also connects to how we need to be more responsible with how we consume our plastic and upcycling and recycling. So I personally think that World Environment Week was a really good highlight of how students across school can collaborate with each other to raise awareness and engagement in sustainable practices.
High school. So again, we talked about sustainable practices from primary, but only when we reach high school do we get our own responsibility to plan and see through our own projects. Some juniors of mine from grade 10, in a festival we call Inicio in Legacy School, we held a thrift shop and we educated the people who joined us, who are mainly parents and students from other schools, about the advantages of buying secondhand rather than mass market manufacturers, who I won't name today. And my own project was a book donation drive. We set up boxes around our school where people could donate secondhand books. We all know how much space they take. And we donated these to a nearby school who are still building their library. And currently, I'm in the IBDP program. I'm in grade 12. And service is a major, major part of IB. We get to plan our own projects, and it's actually recommended that these connect to the community and the people around us. Recently, pretty recently, what we did was we went to a lake, a nearby lake, Kasturi Nagar Lake. I'm not sure if you're familiar. But we went there and we helped the gardener de-weed the area and also paint the walls to make it more appealing for the nearby area. We look forward to doing more sustainable practices. This won't stop with or without fair trade. However, fair trade still does remain a very important part of legacy, and we look to take it forward very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Legacy. Thank you so much for those incredible projects that you have undertaken. And I'm extremely glad that Legacy is ready to take the next step forward and collaborate. And that's the essence of the fair trade movement. Next, I would like to invite Shiv Nada University, where students are leading fair trade initiatives at university level through fair trade clubs. Navya Jain is pursuing a Bachelor of Management Studies, serves as the secretary of the Fair Trade Club. She's passionate about creating platforms where students can engage with real-world issues. And joining her is Daksh Malhotra, also a BMS student, is the associate secretary of the Fair Trade Club. He works on promoting sustainable consumption and ethical practices on campus, coordinating campaigns and initiatives that foster a culture of ethical consumption.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Navya Jain, and along with my teammate Daksh Malhotra, we are representing the Fair Trade Club of Shiv Nada University, Delhi NCR. Our club believes in trade that makes a difference. Through fair trade, we aim to empower communities and sustainable practices that create a lasting change. Today, we would like you to take through our journey, our achievements, and the events that we have planned for the future.
The mission of our club is simple yet powerful: to promote sustainable trade practices and empower communities. We envision a world where every producer is treated fairly, ensuring a better quality of life for all. At Shiv Nada University, Delhi NCR, our focus is on raising awareness about ethical consumption and creating a bridge between producers and consumers. Through discussions, activities, and collaborations, we work together, building a more equitable world. Now, moving on to the milestones we did in the past 1.5 years. So since the establishment of our club, we have been actively promoting awareness about fair trade and sustainable practices on our campus. We started small, but every step has added to the momentum. We have organized workshops and awareness campaigns, not just for our own university students, but also for the visiting school students groups. One of the highlights was our tea tasting sessions, where students and faculty engaged with fair trade green tea and chocolates.
At first, students came out of curiosity. After all, who wouldn't want free chocolates and free tea? But the real purpose was much deeper. Alongside the tasting, we explained the story behind each product, where the cocoa came from, who the farmers were, how fair trade certification ensured they received a fair price and better working conditions. It was eye-opening for many of the participants. This event taught us that awareness doesn't always come from lectures or data. Sometimes it comes from experience.
We have also participated in the Times Higher Education event, where we showcased fair trade products and highlighted ethical consumption practices among delegates. These milestones have not only spread awareness, but also built a stronger fair trade community at our campus.
Coming to the upcoming events, our journey is just beginning, and we have many exciting events planned for the upcoming year. We will start with the Fair Trade 101 workshop to introduce new students to the concept of fair trade through interactive sessions and a fun quiz. Beyond our campus, we plan to reach out to schools like Shiv Nada School through engaging activities such as Who Made My Product or eco-friendly DIY bag making workshops. This outreach is important because it encourages younger students to start thinking about sustainability early. We're also collaborating with our university's fashion club Enchant for a sustainable fashion show. Here, we will showcase thrifted and upcycled outfits and promote sustainability on social media with the hashtag #FairTradeFashion. Another fun initiative will be the Swap and Shop event, where students bring in old clothes, books, or accessories and exchange. This not only promotes reuse,
but also make sustainability accessible to everyone. Finally, we plan to engage our canteen staff through a special workshop on fair trade practices. This idea is not only to raise awareness, but also to encourage the use of fair trade certified ingredients, such as fair trade sugar, spices, tea, and cocoa in everyday meals on campus. By making these small but impactful changes in our own dining spaces, we can set an example of how ethical consumption can start right where we eat, creating a culture of responsibility and sustainability on our campus. Our journey would not have been possible without the constant support of our mentors. Without their guidance and encouragement, we would not be standing here today talking about fair trade at such a platform. They have been the backbone of our work, always ready to share their experience, challenge our ideas, and help us turn them into reality. Every step we've taken from very first event to being here in Bangalore today has been shaped by their support. I would like them to raise their hands wherever they are in this room. We also have a passionate team of students who dedicate their time and creativity to every event, making sure that fair trade message reaches far and wide on campus.
To conclude, fair trade is not just about trade. It's about fairness, justice, and sustainability. At Shivnada University, our club is committed to continuing this journey of raising awareness, building communities, and creating long-term impact. Thank you all for giving this platform today. We are excited to carry this mission forward and invite all of you to join us in making a difference through fair trade. Thank you.
I believe both Navya and Daksh represent how fair trade is not just a school level movement, but a growing force in higher education as well. So thank you so much for that. Our final presenter is Shazana Sharif, a double TEDx speaker, fair trade youth ambassador, and the author of Little Shazu's Farm Tales. She's been championing for the moment since she was at the age of 8 and recognized with the Young Talent of the Year Award 2023 and the winner of the National Fair Trade Short Film Contest. Shazana continues to bridge producers and consumers through her campaigns. Thank you so much for joining us. The stage is yours.
By the time I finish this slide, another family would have lost a farmer. In 2022, 11,290 farmers died by suicide. That's nearly 30 every single day. Maharashtra alone loses 8 farmers every day. Families still wait for relief, and climate change vanishes their harvest within a storm. And here's the cruel irony. The hands that feed us are the very hands that beg for survival. Well, this crisis is not random. It has roots, such as farmers are trapped in debt because of high and unusual interest rates, starting from climate change to high input costs, water scarcity, middleman power, soil degradation, and last but not the least, illiteracy keeps them voiceless. Well, this isn't one wound, it's a chain of wounds. Breaking this change is what the Sustainable Development Goals were created for. And it is our generation that has to step in now. When we talk about SDGs, it feels like a huge global agenda. But this is where fair trade is unstoppable. Yesterday in the conference, I had the opportunity to witness real-time impact on producers, not just in numbers, but in stories. This is when I realized that fair trade does not only focus on 1 or 2 SDGs, like only the SDG 12 or something like that, but then it directly impacts 10 SDGs on whole, starting from SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 2, next slide, SDG 2, zero hunger, good health and well-being is SDG 3, SDG 4, quality education, SDG 5, gender equality. Next slide. And we also have SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, our favorite. SDG 13, climate action. SDG 15, life on land. Well, this proves that fair trade proves that when trade is fair, the SDGs are not just promises, they become reality. Next slide. Consumer choices shape farming. And this is where consumer power comes alive. Every sustainable purchase is a vote. Every choices will decide whether farmers stand or fall. Sustainability is not just a discussion. It's a label, it's a lifeline that our choices will shape global markets. When we demand sustainability, companies are pushed towards making ethical products. Next slide. And we, as youth, are not just tomorrow's leaders, but today's change makers. And today's Gen Z crowd is tomorrow's consumer crowd. That's why the role of youth in fair trade is so critical. When we choose sustainability in schools, campaigns, and our daily lives, we shift demand. When youth make fairness fashionable, companies have no other choice but to follow it. We don't have to wait for governments or corporations. Through schools, through campaigns, through social media, youth can make fair trade the trend, and we can make sustainability the cultural norm. We can use our voices to make fair trade the new normal. Next slide. Now, let me tell you why I believe in this so deeply. When I was 8 years old, I had a chance to visit a farm. When I walked into a farm, as a young child, I had imagined it to be a very happy place where farmers reap their harvest and live a very happy life. But then when I saw it in reality, I was shocked by the impoverished state. What I had in mind and what was there was very different. And me having an inquisitive nature at that point of time, I asked my parents, why is this so? Why are we living a happy life and farmers who feed us are not living one? And then I went to a farm near my city. I started an initiative called Small Hands, Big Heart when I was 8 years old. And I'm very happy to say that till today, I have been helping farmers from the same farm, and I have empowered over 500 plus farmer lives as an individual. I've also led more than 5 Save the Farmer campaigns. Every year on Kisan Divas, that's National Farmers Day, December 23rd, I go to farms, and now it's recently Fair Trade farms that from the time I have joined Fair Trade. So I go there, I do my Save the Farmer campaigns. I create awareness in the public side that I'm doing this. I create the hype that, okay, 23rd is coming. And I would say that this day has been playing a very significant role in my life. I run Save the Farmer campaigns, so I've run more than 5 campaigns where I donate essential kits to farmers and farmer family. As a Fair Trade Youth Ambassador, I advocate for farmers and fair supply chains, from working at Fair Trade cotton farms to local awareness with family and friends. I've also carried this message to global platforms, including speaking twice at the TEDx. Authored my own comic series, illustrated and articulated by me, called Little Shazu's Farm Tales, which is also an autobiography, where my farming journey is articulated by me. One voice can ripple into many, and youth action can move mountains. When youth and SDGs come together, we get dignity for the farmer, justice in the supply chain, hope for the planet, and most of all, what and farmer you truly deserves. A smile on their face. In a gentle way, we can shake the world. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Shazana, for hitting us with the hard facts and reflecting on the impact of fair trade and your journey. I would now like to invite Inara, Amog, Ayman, Nikhil, Navya, Daksh, and Shazana back on stage. I think all our speakers deserve a big round of applause from the audience. Thank you for sharing your journeys and perspectives with such passion and clarity. With that, I'd like to open the floor for some Q&A session. This is your opportunity to engage directly with the speakers, ask questions, give your thoughts, suggestions, and observations, and let's dive deeper into the ideas we've explored today. So if you have any questions, please do raise your hand. I will give you some time to think because I already have a lot of questions ready. So only 2 questions from the audience. And I would like to start off with the question I had when I was listening to all the speakers today. And as Shazana rightly said, we don't really need to wait for the government or anyone to make action and actually work towards this movement. So a common question to all the speakers present here today: how do we engage the youth of today to become more aware of their choices, aware of the root problem, and take part in the movement like fair trade and contribute to the SDG 12? Shazana, would you like to take that first?
Okay, so I would say at this point of time, the Gen Z crowd out there is least concerned about sustainability because they do not have the awareness on what it is, what today's choices, our food and fashion choices, are gonna leave tomorrow. I think if they come to know about the seriousness, because I as a young person, when I came to know that this is going to be the impact, I started doing whatever I am doing today. So I think the way we educate them about it, I think it has to be a part of every curriculum as it's already been doing. Not in particularly fair trade, but then sustainability is something that is the need of the hour today. So I think it's the way you communicate to the youth. Because as I told in my PPT as well, when youth finds this fun, because Gen Z is something which wants to do it just for the sake of doing it. So when this makes it fun and fun and interesting, it becomes the trend. Sustainability, if it is going to become the trend, then I would say Gen Z is not going to leave it so soon.
Okay, that's definitely an interesting perspective. Nikhil. Absolutely, why not?
I feel that's a bit harsh, actually, because comparatively, Gen Z lives in an information world. Compared to boomers or Gen X, we definitely know a lot more about sustainability. Because again, sustainability is relatively new. We've made our mistakes and we've learned from it. While I do agree that, yes, Gen Z may not take it forward if it becomes a trend, because again, a trend is something that is temporary. We can integrate this in our curriculum. I agree with you on that. But I think you shouldn't count us out that easily as well.
I really like that we're seeing both sides of the coin and the perspectives are fantastic. Thank you so much for that engagement. Would Vidya should like to take it next?
Absolutely. I think I would agree with Nikhil here and say that we need to take a more sanguine approach to what the youth is going to look like and what the choices that we're going to make. We can already see here that there's so many people, so many different institutions, different cities, and we're already making changes to the way we think and the choices that we make. I think the important part, however, to make the transition is that the signaling cannot happen in rhetorics. That if you do this, this might happen. And it's rather showing the youth how the real changes that they're able to make and the real impacts that they're able to drive. Something as simple as actually going to a farm and seeing what the farmers do, the process of growing a cereal or a grain of food, and understanding the effort that it takes from the seed to get to a meal on your plate is going to give us a sense of appreciation of the effort that it takes. And I think that is going to allow us to have a more systematic and comprehensive look at the choices that we make.
Thank you so much. I believe that's a very valid point. But now we're hearing from the school's perspective. Let's move on to higher education. Shivnada, what is your opinion on this?
So I think I agree with Shazana's point. So because from the university's point of view, when we ourselves hosted a tea tasting and chocolate tasting event, I don't think people were really aware about fair trade practices and sustainability as such. But when we hosted the event in our campus, I think people then got to know about fair trade, what is fair trade, what is sustainability, how to make fairer choices, and how to, think about the farmers, and how to, think about farmers and implementing the choices at your places, at your first choice. So I think I would agree with you here.
1 second. I think what it just started off with one question and led to a very healthy debate. What I've been able to understand with this is that we may have different perspectives and different ways to carry out this movement, but our vision and our goal is the same. So I absolutely love that, and I look forward that we have the youth collaborating together and working towards this common objective. Audience, I would love to hear some questions from you. Any thoughts, any observation, any suggestions? Can we have the mic there, please?
First of all, I'll not say about the clashes or about the differences which you had. It was wonderful to listen. I'll say 8 people and 2 are the back. And I think you people are the most youngest one here. So whatever thoughts you have, they may be a little bit different, but the ultimate goal is same. So kudos to you all.
Thank you so much for that,
Not a
sir.
question. Thank you.
Any further questions from the panelists and any observation, any suggestions to carry forward the youth movement? Can we have the mic there, please?
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations to all the presenters. It was amazing to see students learning in fair trade. I would suggest that, fair trade needs to begin at home. As educators, we need to not only teach the children, we have to have session with the parent cohort, make them understand the relevance and its importance. I know we all not Gen Z, but we can learn this. This concept was not something very new. It's been there. So we know about sustainability, but fair trade, I think we need to take it beyond our classroom, which we are doing it. And what I personally, I think in Legacy, we do that, we give the children the real life experiences. So we do have various, sessions where they come up with issue and they find out the root cause of it and they come up with solution to solve that. In education system, the current education system, there are certain subjects that opens them to understand the real world problems, not only local, national, even at the global front. If that is introduced, and I think it would be embedded in the system, in the education system, and we can empower our youth on this.
The signaling has to be collaborative and it has to be from all ends. If there's educators in our school telling us about sustainability, it's the parents that support us when we go to a supermarket and say, let's buy this instead of that because it is sustainable. And it's us as the consumers who go to a mall and look for that brand which is fair trade certified and make that choice. And then the parents support us and the teachers and us itself. So that comprehensive signaling and messaging needs to go through, and only then can we make real change that is blanket, that makes a change and a foundation that is going to be solid for the entire future to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And as we conclude, I think one thing...
One question from you. You can't see me, I know.
Oh, I'm so sorry for missing that out. Yes, please go ahead.
So here we have a diverse panel of schools and children and the young people here all together. So this is a question to all of them. One from each representative school and university can answer this. And Adya, I would like you to answer it also, not from Vidyashilp. So from Vidyashilp, one of the students can take up the question and answer. I would like to know from the young people here, you've been with this journey, young and old, all of you. How do you plan or propose to take it forward? So what do you want us as educators from school? What do you see and how do you see the road spanning out, and what are your suggestions to us? Is there any way we can do what we can do best? Can you tell us something about it from each of your perspective?
Ma'am, which grades do you teach? Could I ask that?
I teach the phase 1, which is grade 1 to grade 5.
Phase 1. Okay. From my personal experience in my phase 1 primary school, it's been embedded in our teachings. It's been embedded from, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but in IGCFC, we have a subject called GP as well. So fair trade has been embedded into that. Some of us here are 12th graders, and we would love to take it forward to the university level. I haven't seen a lot of universities have programs like this, which I'm a little disappointed by. However, I'm very, very willing to take it forward myself.
Okay, I
Just come back to that question again. I wanted to know from all of you, as a youth, how do you want to, because you've been working at your own little schools and colleges, how do we take this forward as a movement, as Indian youth? I don't want it only in the school's perspective, but how do we take the movement forward? Like, we can't have all of you together. I don't know when we're going to get that chance. So as a youth, what are your suggestions to Fairtrade for people like us, the educators, and those who are doing it at our level?
I think as an individual, I have been creating awareness from family to friends, starting from home to, I think, global platforms. I think if all of us get that one opportunity to spread awareness about sustainability and fair trade again, and I would say that my goal is to go to the UN and make this a point out there, because end of the day, from there my goal is to make a difference to the entire farmer community. So I would say that can be one opportunity that we as youth can get. Again, not all of us can reach to that. At this point of time, all that we can do as youth is create awareness.
So from the university's point of view, I would love to have, a course based on fair trade, how we would want to, pursue fair trade and how would we want to adapt to fair trade. So I think that from the university's point of view is a little bit missing. So I would love the universities, make the curriculum in a way that people get to know about fair trade practices and, what is sustainability, and they get educated about it so that even they can start from their point of view.
Okay, so as Shazana said, I think all we can do is start with spreading more awareness, and not just because school is asking us to do this, because we're really passionate about this. And I would say first, not just do this in school, not just do it in your community, do it with everyone, start a movement there. That's where you connect best, and then expand this movement. Go to malls, go to all these convention centers, like BIC, Bangalore International Center. So I would say that's how we can take the first steps to making this really global big movement.
Thank you so much for that, all the panelists. And just a concluding note from my end on this topic as well. I think just building up from what the panelist says, along with awareness, it's important to transform that into action. And I understand as youths, there are some restrictions that can come with action, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. So as I feel from my end, just the small actions, small impacts actually do have lasting change. It doesn't have to be big, grand gestures. It needs to start small, step by step, and constantly. So that's something I think the schools should work on to work mindfully towards, as well as the students collaborate on the same. And on that concluding note, I believe that sustainability is no longer a distant ideal. It's a choice we make every single day. So thank you to all the speakers that are present today. And I thank you all for joining us today, and invite each of you to carry this conversation beyond this room, as Sir rightly said and Ma'am rightly said, in our homes, in our communities, and our decisions. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hand it over to Ajanta Ma'am for the concluding notes.
Thank you so much, Adya, for anchoring this session so beautifully, and to all our young speakers. But they didn't sound young though. Yeah. Bringing such, fresh perspectives, passion, energy to the discussion on Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. Your voices truly remind us that youth are not just the future, but they're the leaders of today and tomorrow. As a token of our gratitude, may I now invite Mr. Jorge Conesa, Managing Director, Fairtrade Advocacy Office, to kindly come on stage and present the speakers with a memento. And just wait for a few seconds for a quick photo. Amog? Amog. I request Ayman to come forward. Can I request Nikhil and Sanvi and Stritija, if you can come on stage, please? I know Sanvi won't take much time to come on stage. She is quick. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, Nikhil, also you can stand for the photo. Thank you so much. Navya, if you can come forward, please. Please remain there. Daksh, if you can come forward. Shazana, if you can come forward, please. And I'm requesting all the speakers to come on stage for a group photo. Sanvi and Shritija also. And at last, our moderator, Adya. She is done.